Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show, and of course, another episode of The Final Whistle, or if you like, the Premier League Review Show. Today's episode, we will be reviewing Game Week 11, and of course, all the major talking points. It's sacking season, it seems, in the well, not even in the Premier League. There were some sackings in the Championship as well. A lot of manager movement, so we'll be discussing on tonight's agenda, of course, Dean Smith and Daniel Farke both losing their jobs this weekend. We're going to have a chat about the Manchester derby. Of course, the shock result of the weekend. Is it really a shock these days? I'm not sure.
Bro.
No, it's not, is it? It's not.
No, it's not.
I don't think it is a shock, Corey. West Ham beating Liverpool. We'll do Leeds Leicester. Are Leeds United back? Maybe. Could be. And yeah, I think that'll give us enough to get through today's episode. But let me welcome today's guest. We'll start with you, Oscar, late as ever. I tell you that Tash is coming on. Something
doing all right, isn't it? It starts to progress a bit. We've hit that stage now.
Mine. You can barely see mine, bro, but yours is a beauty. How are you doing?
I know, it's starting to come on, isn't it? Shit, what, we're 8 days in? Yeah. Only another 3 weeks.
You're going to look disgusting.
I know.
Yeah, so we've got Oscar in the house, obviously. Locks, how you doing, mate? All right?
Yeah, very good, mate. Thank you. I don't know, mate. Well, I don't know how to take it, really. I think 12 months ago, I would have been like, oh, what point away at Ellen Road? I'm buzzing with that. But it's a little bit disappointing again for Leicester this weekend. I would have loved the win. So, but yeah, apart from that, all good, mate. It's just football getting me down as it has been for the past few months.
Mate, that's a great point away at Ellen Road, man. I'm telling you.
12 months ago,
we're giving it better. I was like, yo, Leeds are back, And then Locke's saying earlier on, just off air in the chat, was like, no, you weren't. We were just rubbish. And I was a bit like, don't be saying that, bro. We've got a little bit of scary Locks in the chat because people are aware that obviously last week you were supposed to be on after saying you would batter Arsenal. We had an Arsenal fan on and you bottled it. You know what I mean? So I think that's what a lot of people are saying at the minute, mate. Loxy's back. Look, they're surprised you're even here, mate. Maybe if you'd have been beaten, you probably wouldn't have been. Something might have been up with you.
No, I would have been. I predicted a loss with Oscar.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, he did, to be fair. Yeah. So you should be happy, Locks. You should be happy.
Should be happy. Jan, you're happy, aren't you, after the Manchester derby?
Yeah, very happy. It was a good weekend for us.
Yeah, but I told you had nothing to worry about as well, didn't I?
I know. The thing is, it's derby day, isn't it? So, like, I know we're better than United, but it's that derby day. You never know what's going to happen. So that was the worry.
Yeah, it was great. It was great for my viewing pleasure. Anyway, I'll put it that way. The defending was atrocious. Corey, you must be on cloud 9, mate. West Ham can't stop winning at the minute.
Yeah, mate. I'm just honestly, yesterday the atmosphere at the ground is probably the best I've seen it in. I can't even really remember, to be honest. And I said before the game, I just wanted us to be ambitious at points. And listen, it feels a bit like one of them games where you're sitting in for long periods and it's squeaky bum time. But second half we turned up and we really showed up. And yeah, mate, the fact we're third, 6 points clear of Man United and where we're at now, I've got to start reevaluating, don't I? I've got to start thinking, hang on a minute, we're here for the long term. So, yeah, hopefully.
Title charge.
Yeah, title charge, yeah.
Go on.
It's so weird. It's so weird because I didn't know Liverpool had that 25 or 26 game unbeaten run. It didn't really even come into my thinking, to be honest. But again, on our day, now we've shown we can beat anyone. So when you got that behind you, then who knows?
Yeah, man. I'm buzzing for you, mate. Honestly, I just love it. I love it, especially because I know the first time we ever spoke, Corey, you were talking about worrying about relegation, what your season, and then from that moment, like under Moyes, you've just gone from strength to strength, and now there's a real. I mean, he was even asked the question, weren't he, about a title charge? I think after the game, David Moyes, and he was a bit like, "We'll calm down a bit." But I mean. Oh, it's amazing. And James says, nice to see Neil on the show. Yes, we've had you on our Leeds TV before, haven't we, Neil? But it's great to welcome you to my channel in this show. I know you're not as happy as some of us because Aston Villa no longer have Dean Smith in charge, mate.
Yeah, thanks a million for having me back on again, guys, because I really enjoyed it the last time. But yeah, I'm probably in one of the factions that is, how will I put it? Look, I'm not surprised that Dean Smith is gone, because it's not really to do with the 5 games lost in a row. It's more to do with performances in 2021. I really think, realistically, but it's one thing. The reason that I'm kind of disappointed is that one thing I think has been lost at the Dean Smith sacking, and I fear that potentially this has been lost in the boardroom as well, is a lot of context around some of the results. It was definitely lost. The narrative of some of the results that we have is definitely lost among social media as well at periods of time. And I discussed it, and I always tried to discuss it from the point of view of context and I suppose nuance, that you can stand there and you can say a manager is rubbish and you can castigate him for this, that, and the other. But if you don't look at the context around some of the results, some of the reasons why he can't play certain formation, like there was times when he was getting pelters for not starting Emi Buendia, not starting Leon Bailey, playing 3 at the back, but the injuries dictated who he could play at the time. And you know, as an Aston Villa fan, we would have known that. But sometimes you just see social media takes on a life of its own. And then before you know it, everybody's talking is Dean Smith in the hot seat. And then it turned into he was in the hot seat. It turned into the fact that he was gone. But he's just realistically, like, I'm not going to say that he was going to sit there and that he was going to make us charge up to 6th in the table from where we were this season. I think that's beyond it. But just a genuinely nice guy, a fan of the club, and a guy that just, you know, deserved a small bit of faith, I think, to turn it around from my point of view. And I think that he hasn't had a full squad this season. And I think that a lot of people use the no Jack Grealish card to beat him with, you know, and from that point of view, you know, while I can completely understand why he has been sacked, you know, just from my own point of view, I would have liked to have seen him maybe get a few more weeks to see if he could turn it around. But look, I can completely understand why they pulled the trigger right now as well, you know.
Do you think Neil he could have turned it on? Because I was one of these on that chat, and I'm going to give Oscar a chance as well, because I know Oscar definitely was one of the no Jack Grealish camp, and look, now Dean Smith can't do anything kind of thing. I know, and I will let Oscar say that, because he did believe that. He wouldn't mind me saying that. But look at him now, he's laughing. He's saying,
what a lovely tee up that was, Joe. That was a lovely tee up that.
Sorry there, Oscar. I can't see you with the big bust that's up on top of you there. Someone just threw you underneath it. I'm not 100% sure that's actually
you. But Neil, do you think he could have turned it around, mate?
I do. I definitely do, because, you know, I'm going to adjust kind of the Grealish thing as well. Is like, why wouldn't you just give the ball to Grealish? Why wouldn't you just give the ball to Grealish if you had him on your team, specifically when he's the best player on your team? Because, like, I am going to sit here and say that Jack Grealish is a transcendent talent. He is he's just such a different English player than there is in the whole lot of the Premier League. And when I say English player, I mean specifically player that can play for England. That's in the Premier League at the moment. And, like, you know, it would have actually been worse management from Dean Smith if he didn't just have him absolutely as the pinnacle of his game plan. Now, we brought in Leon Bailey, but Leon Bailey has been injured, and Leon Bailey, Buendia, and Ings were all brought in to cover and to create more creativity around the field, so it wouldn't just be an out ball to the left to Jack Grealish and let's see what he can do and progress the ball forward, because he was one of the best ball carriers in England at the time. You know, we brought in these 3 guys. Buendia went on international duty. There was all those bits and pieces about COVID and so on, and the restrictions and having to go to Croatia and missing games. He was the Chelsea game, as did Emi Martinez. And then we had Bailey comes in. He has a slight hamstring strain. He comes on. He lights up the game against Everton. Injures himself scoring an absolute belter of a goal. Out for 4 or 5 weeks. You know, it was just really, really unfortunate stuff. And then we had to play a 3-5-2 where we had to it was really, I'm not going to say people were out of their comfort zone, but it really put people like Matty Targett and Matty Cash in the limelight. And Matty Cash thrived on it, and now he's Mateusz Cash because he's gone to Poland and he's going to get his first Polish cap this week. But Matty Targett didn't really thrive on that, and he went from being one of our more steady players last season to not being as steady this season. And you know, we couldn't play those wingers. We had to play 2 up top with Ings and Watkins. The Ings and Watkins thing didn't click. And I think that was when people started to really ask questions and go, well, why are you playing this formation if the 2 strikers don't click up top? But the nuance behind it was we have no wingers to play because there was 4 of them out injured at that period of time. Yes, we could have put Jaden Philogene-Bides, 19-year-old kid, in there. I'd say he's about 9.5 stone soaking wet, and he's about 5'9". And then we could have put Anwar El-Ghazi on the left-hand side or the right-hand side. But there's a lot of pressure in that, and to have nobody on the bench, that if you're going to get if one of those 2 get injured or are having a bad run of form, you're going to need to change the formation anyway. So I can see why he did it. I'm not here absolutely standing up for the reason why he did it. But he needed to do something at that stage. We beat Man United playing 3 at the back. We played really well. We played really well in Stamford Bridge against
That's
against
not
Chelsea.
such a hard thing, though, these times,
but
Neil. That's not
it's
such
not.
a great result.
I was expecting that to come from the Leeds corner, all right, and from the City corner. I was expecting that to come, but we hadn't beaten United in. Jesus, I think it was since 94. So what's that? 27 years, 27 years, 17 years, whatever that is. So long time. So that was a big deal for us. That was only 6 weeks ago. So we went from going, oh God, Dean Smith's after beating United, to Dean Smith can't manage his way out of a paper bag. We need to get rid of him. And it just shows that the contextual nature of looking at football sometimes can be really lost over a short period of time. And if you lose the narrative, you've really just lost everything as well. So, I see there from what Matt is. How are you doing, Matt? I've had Matt on my show a couple of times. He's an absolute gentleman as well. And I do think it is reactionary, although the stats do go back a small bit longer to the start of the year. It was actually United away on New Year's Day last year, where Aston Villa kind of broke slightly when Pogba dived. I'm going to call it a dive. I mean, they got a penalty, and then Villa it took Villa a long time to recover from that game. And then we kind of saw it this season as well when Villa played Wolves 2-0 up, 10 minutes to go, and ended up losing 3-2. And that was a big sliding doors moment for the narrative, I suppose, around whether Dean Smith could manage this team. Immediately afterwards, there was talks that he'd lost the dressing room, which ultimately proved to be wild and untrue. But these little things start to creep out when massive anomalies like that happen in games. And I feel sorry for Dean Smith. I really do. I feel sorry for him. But look, he's not our manager anymore. He goes with my absolute blessing. I hope someday I can sit down with him and have a chat with him and have a pint with him, because to me, he's up there in my top 3 Villa managers I've ever seen in my lifetime. And now I look forward to, because you kind of have to look forward to a small bit of excitement to look forward to kind of who's going to come in. Even no matter how sad I am about Smith not being there, you kind of have to look forward. Otherwise, you're just destined to be a misery guts all your life.
Yeah. No. Some great points there made Neil, and we'll have a chat about who we expect to come in a little bit later on, because I want to get the panel's thoughts on obviously Dean Smith's sacking, and of course we'll have a chat about Norwich and Daniel Farke. But Oscar, I just want to give what your thoughts are obviously on this Grealish thing. And what I will say, and I know Neil, you're more than welcome to respond, I slightly disagree with this statement from Matt as well, because I think this progression, the squad that was in the Championship was probably the most expensively built squad, and he came in after Steve Bruce, and really the only way is up really after you've been managed by Steve Bruce. I think it was a goal line technology decision away from getting relegated. So it's true though. It is true. Like, that's a fact. So it's like, listen, Neil,
first half.
Dean Smith, I'm not his biggest fan from his time at Brentford, and of course the Villa situation and what happened in the Championship, the goal and all that sort of stuff, and John Terry, throw him in the mix as well, and there's a little bit of needle there. But Oscar, do you agree with what I'm saying there? Slightly disagree with what Matt's saying, or?
He's done a good job at Villa. There's no doubt about it. He's done. I think you can debate how good a job he's done at Villa. I think from an outsider looking in, I definitely agree with you. Obviously, they had Tammy Abraham up top. In the Championship, it's absolutely mad. It was only like 2 years ago as well. What players to have in the Championship? Obviously, Grealish, your John McGinns, people like that. It was a very good team they had, Villa. But having said that, and I think it's worth mentioning, I'm not sure if Neil would agree with this or not. I think what we've found this season, especially with Solskjaer, is that Twitter or what online forums say doesn't represent the match-going fans. Because I heard in that Southampton game, Dean Smith's name being sung throughout that whole game. The Villa fans, to be fair, Villa travel really well. You could hear Dean Smith's name being chanted, and you're thinking, that doesn't really represent what Twitter would probably be saying. Twitter's probably, I'd imagine, Neil, would be saying similar things to what Man United fans say about Solskjaer. He's got no CV, he's got nothing, he's not got this, not got that, he's only managed Brentford, all these little bits and pieces. But I think Dean Smith has been sacked more because of who Villa think they can get in. I mean, you're looking at the names that have been linked. I know we're going to talk about that in a second, but Gerrard, Roberto Martinez, the Denmark manager, whose names escaped me, some quite high-end names there, considering where Villa are on the table. And it's only obviously Villa's third season back. So I think that's the bigger thing behind it, because Dean Smith has had bad runs of form previously at Villa, and he's survived. Villa have kept the patience with him. As Joe said, it could have gone either way with that goal line technology. But no, I think he's done a good job, Dean Smith. And I think if it hadn't been the international break coming up, where Villa think they can get someone in and just train the team for the next 2 weeks, I don't think Dean Smith would have gone. I think he's just been a victim of the timing. I don't think when you've lost 5 in a row, you've got the players he's got, you can't have many complaints. But with the injuries, I said at the start of the season, Villa would be the highest out of all the teams, in terms of outside the top 6. I think he has Villa down as 7th or 8th. But unfortunately, he's not got Bailey, Buendia, and now on the pitch at the same time. And I think he probably has underperformed this season. So depends how you look at it. 2 ways of looking at it. I don't think there's really a right or a definite right, a definite wrong answer on it. I can see why Villa did it.
Yeah, look, as I say, that's exactly. I 100% see why they did it now. To be honest with you, when they lost to Southampton, me being his ardent fan, I think I might be the only Aston Villa fan. I printed up something like 15 Villa t-shirts with Smith in on the back, and then I thought better of getting. I did it about 6 weeks ago, and I went, better push the brakes on this one now for a moment to make sure. But they never actually saw the market. But I was like, literally, I was. There was times people would come to me and said, you're mindlessly defending him. No, I never did. I always talked in context. And that's why I started my monologue earlier on with the context behind it was there was injuries and so on. And I guess it might be the excuse making for him. But and yes, everybody else deals with injuries as well. But there are reasons why you can't play certain formations. And I agree with you that now was probably the right time to do it if they were going to do it. They made up their mind to do it. They were ruthless and they did it, and everybody parted amicably. And now we move on to another manager, much to my behest, because I've had to go in, I've had to dig out some quite turgid football at times to watch these managers and see what their tactics are and see what the crack is with them. But and I will be honest with you, there's no silver bullet out there. It's not like we can go and sign an Antonio Conte or even get somebody to the level of Bielsa or and there's like we're going to be hoping that we can pull a bunny out of the hat here like West Ham did with Moyes. Realistically, that's what Villa are kind of going to hope for at the moment. And whether that's a retrade of Roberto Martinez, who I'm very fond of as a manager, specifically since he went to international football, I think it's made him a more robust manager. I see I'm just literally here on Twitter, and just in case news breaks, I have it up here in front of me at the moment. John Terry, the opportunist as ever, has got a picture of a tactics board inside in his living room, and it looks like he's studying for some UEFA license thing, and he's stirring the pot there with that. I personally would be very underwhelmed.
Get
with
the
John
duo,
Terry
man.
as
Get
manager.
Frank Lampard and Terry in.
I would be underwhelmed with that.
Lampard's off to Norwich.
Oh, is he?
Well, Dean Smith could be off to Norwich.
And Dean Smith as well, the 2 favourites at the minute.
Could be off to Norwich, yeah. I don't know who Villa are going to get. The people I want aren't even on the bookies list at the moment. Steven Gerrard's up there at the top. Look, he's got a body of work with Rangers, but as I've said, I don't know what way Steven Gerrard pressure for Steven Gerrard is when he loses maybe 2-1 to Aberdeen in a fluke result, and then he comes out and he eviscerates his team and he eviscerates people in the media afterwards. And look, that's fine. I think Villa need a bit of bite and a bit of needle like that as well, because we're a very nice club. We always have been. And what I mean by that is maybe we might be nice in the field and we've done some stupid things. And I know that we had the whole Bamford, Conor Horan and stuff like that. And I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about like referees roll over us 9 times out of 10 in games. They do. And as you say, goal line technology doesn't have a heart or a pulse. So it just didn't work that day. But I think sometimes maybe something like that from a Stevie Gerrard that comes in that could maybe do an Alex Ferguson, intimidate a ref on the sideline, use his status, his celebrity status. I think that's worth that could be worth something to Aston Villa when it comes to the end of the season. But from a tactical point of view, I did a piece on him today. I think he's like, our board are going to spend big bucks again. They're going to continue to keep on spending because they just have endless pockets. And it's just one of these things that I just don't know, is the juice worth the squeeze in bringing in Steven Gerrard and for him having a rocket of 2 years and being absolutely, let's just say he's brilliant for 2 years. Like, we all know what the next narrative is going to be then. And Villa are going to be the ones who are going to be left picking up the pieces while he flies off down to or up to Anfield to take over from Jurgen Klopp after the World Cup and Klopp gets the Germany job. So, you know, there's kind of pluses and minuses to everybody. From myself, I'm kind of taking a back seat and kind of wondering who we're going to get and just kind of reveling in it at the moment to see what happens.
Yeah, well, you've got Villa, huge club, obviously decent squad, and it, like you say, they'll just continue to improve that squad. So whoever gets the job, I think, you know, Villa will definitely climb up the table. Steven Gerrard, like, I think he's class personally as well. Like, I'd love him as a potential maybe for when Bielsa moves on. I just can't see him going straight to Liverpool. I just don't see it. But like you say, come to the Premier League, a decent team, and then go on. And I think Gerrard's savvy enough. He's not going to, he's not going to take like a Norwich. He's not going to take a Newcastle, I don't think, although Newcastle are in a different situation to what they were. He'll want to come where he sees it as being stable and a stepping stone, I guess, to that Liverpool job. But another obviously, Corey, manager sacking over the weekend, Daniel Farke. They win their first game of the season against Brentford. Brentford in free fall. Love to see it. Thomas Frank in the mud. Love to see it.
Who said that would happen?
I'm not too happy, to be fair. I don't know.
I am, because apparently they were the new Leeds, and now it's like, well, where are
you were saying that? You said that yourself. I told you they dropped down the table.
Did I say it? The media, man.
Yes.
Shows the power of the media. But yeah, it was surprising, wasn't it, Corey, to see Farke get the boot?
I don't know. I mean, kind of because of it was straight after the win, but I think when it was that quick after the win and the international break, and someone mentioned it to me, it was obviously premeditated. And I think Norwich with the money, I know people don't think they've spent a lot of money, but I think they've pulled up stats. It's the most they've spent in a long, long time. And there is an expectation there from their board that they need to stay up in that division. And so I can understand why they've done it and tried to chance their arm. I just think timing-wise, it looks bad, sacking a manager when he just won his first game. And from what I hear about that game anyway, Brentford were all over him in the second half. So, to be honest, I think it's the right thing. I know it sounds maybe not for Norwich, and I completely agree with the argument that if they get relegated, then he's the perfect guy to bring them up. But surely if you're a Norwich fan, and even looking from the outside in, you just want to be competitive. And to be fair, like if Dean Smith's kicking around, 100%, he'd be brilliant for the job. He would. And even if they did get relegated, he's had experience in the Championship as well. Yeah. So he is that kind of manager where he could do something. But it is, listen, it's a hard task. That squad, that first team, isn't a Premier League team. And you've seen the standard of the league this season and the players and the coaches. You've got to come up with something serious. So if Fat Frank gets it, then they're straight down. There's no question mark for me. But Fat Frank won't, because he'll never put his reputation on the line. It's not Frank's idea. So I think you'll probably see Dean Smith. I'd go with Dean Smith. I can't think of anyone else unless it's like a real niche one, which it could be. But yeah, not surprised, mate. I think they just want to give a fist to it, to be honest.
Yeah, you're right about Lampard. There's not a chance his ego's too big for Norwich, isn't it? I think. Do you know what? I'll tell you someone who I think's probably kicking himself taking a job this weekend is Chris Wilder. He's took that Middlesbrough job straight away, and I'm thinking, I wonder if he's looking at. Yeah, he's got the Middlesbrough job. Yeah,
Warnock left.
He got it within hours of Warnock, really. So it's like a little bit like. I bet he's thinking, damn. If I'd have waited, you never know. Norwich might have come knocking on his door, possibly, and then he's straight in at the Premier League. I don't know, but Middlesbrough's a good club for him to go to. I expect Middlesbrough to start climbing up the Championship. But that's the Championship, man. We're done with them days. But one manager that has still got a job, which is massively surprising, and it looks like he's going to see his tenure out till the end of the season, which I'm absolutely here for, is, of course, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's still rocking up at Old Trafford. And Jan, what a result at the weekend. I know obviously it wasn't as emphatic as the Liverpool job. They didn't, as Dom said, they didn't do them in missionary position and all that sort of stuff. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, exactly. But Jan, you've got to be happy with that. It was easy, wasn't it? Training exercise.
Yeah, it's probably from a City fan perspective. Obviously, we didn't want Ollie to get sacked, so I think 2-0 is perfect because it doesn't necessarily get him sacked, but we still win and get 3 points, which is what we needed. But yeah, it was. It did look like a training session from us. Yeah. I thought that was the best City have been all season. We have been good in the big games, to be honest. It's the sort of Crystal Palace, Southampton where we've not been as good. But yeah, I thought it was a good performance from City. We didn't really need to, like Pep said, in the second half, he didn't need to bring anyone on because it was just game over. So yeah, it's nice to see. United deserve everything they get. I hope Ollie stays a lot longer. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But from a City perspective, it's nice. And yeah, we could have scored more, but I think if we'd have won 4-0, I think Ollie would have got sacked the next day. So in hindsight, it's probably better that we won 2-0.
Yeah, man, I love that. Pep's Ollie in. But yeah.
But he did his thing.
Go on.
Pep did his thing after the game, and you always know when he doesn't rate a manager. When he does that thing in the interview, he goes, "Oh, he's an exceptional manager. We've come up against an exceptional manager today." He does that thing that really, he's got a smile on his face. You can just tell that he just doesn't rate him at all. I love that when he does that in the interviews. He did it to Lampard as well, and it's I'm here for it. To be fair, I'm all here for it.
Yeah, you guys just hate Lampard, that's why. But like Pep, when you deep it, Pep is actually like. Am I allowed to swear on here?
No. Let's try to keep it. Let's keep it.
Pep is an a-hole because this man in interviews, like when he does it to another club, it's funny because they asked him post match, like, "What do you do?" And he said, "We kept the ball in the fridge." Like obviously referring to. I think he knows what people are calling Maguire online, but he's never gonna say that. But he said we kept the ball in the fridge, and he then reiterated and said we went gentle with them. We just played gentle football. So Pep as a person is just, I despise that man so much. But listen, the good thing is he didn't put past five past them because then he would have got sacked. So Ollie's in Norway right now, enjoying the Norwegian weather and enjoying, just celebrating back home. He's gonna be United manager, make no mistake.
Yeah, for sure. Don, though, people in glass houses shouldn't throw bricks because the way Klopp's behaved over the last 24
I'll tell you what,
hours.
The state of his comments are embarrassing. He should be ashamed of himself. Absolutely horrific. Liverpool fans, Jurgen Klopp, the refs against us. I swear to you, it's the most biased performance I've seen. And I've seen Manchester United turn up, and I've seen Liverpool. And it's not a myth about refereeing decisions. There's a pull on Antonio in the box that doesn't get flagged. The dive from Salah is horrific as well for the free kick. It's embarrassing, and he should have put his hands up. And fair play to Guardiola, because that is the difference. He turned around the other day and he went, "West Ham, fantastic team, fantastic manager. We got done." It's as simple as that on pens. But Klopp, he throws his toys out the pram, and it disappoints me because I think Jurgen Klopp is one of the best coaches in the world, and I think his team play unbelievable football. But you don't need to do that. You really, really don't. You've just come up against a good West Ham team that did a number on you in the end. So just hold your hands up and walk on.
I love that. But we have first-hand experience of Klopp's influence on managers as well this season when he walked onto the field of play and managed to get Pascal Struijk a red card.
Here we go.
No, I'm just saying. You started throwing shade at Pep, and Pep's mates with Bielsa, so I feel like I have to back Pep a little bit there. So yeah, people in glass houses.
I also love the fact that ever since Hassam had a pop at our back line, Liverpool haven't stopped conceding goals. You've not stopped conceding, mate. You've not stopped conceding.
You haven't stopped conceding either. So it's just my point still stands. My point still stands. And when it comes to Klopp, look, every manager, and Pep himself has done it before, every manager who's a winner is just salty after a loss. Like, it just happens. Like, you might have heard that line about West Ham, but I'm sure he just looked so annoyed and said some crazy thing, because like Ferguson used to have crazy post-match interviews when they lose. Everyone does it. Like, would I rather have a manager who's just salty and annoyed, or someone like Oli who goes like, yeah, we played very well, and no, don't give me that. I want him to be annoyed, because that shows me he's a winner, if you get what I'm saying. So
yeah,
you know,
no, I
Corey today celebrating. I can see the smile on his face. Congratulations.
We'll get into it, bro. Don't you worry.
We will. We're coming up to West Ham and Liverpool. Just while we're staying on Manchester United, I just want to have a chat with Locks, because we had a conversation about a certain manager possibly rocking up at Old Trafford very, very soon, and the chat was it'll never happen. I think Oscar said that as well, but seeing over the weekend, it looks like Brendan Rodgers may have provisionally agreed to rock up at Old Trafford at the end of the season. Locks, what are your initial thoughts?
I mean, I'd still be surprised if they want it. I can't. I don't know. It's a tough one. I haven't seen the consensus among Man United fans. Has any of you? Do they want him? Do the Man United fans
Absolutely not. Absolutely. No, every Man United fan I know can't think of anything worse. Because he's the Liverpool link.
The Glazers would love him though, because he will be the yes man. He will be the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. What Hassan was just saying about after a game, you know, after Leeds, he'll come out and he'll be like, I think we've performed well. He's been doing it with Leicester for the past few weeks. The past 2 months, he's come out and said that he's happy with the performance when really no one else has been. So I think for the Glazers, it's a great appointment. I think for the Man United fans, not so much. If I was a Man United fan, I wouldn't want him. I still want him at Leicester. I'm not saying I don't want Rodgers at Leicester. I'm perfectly happy with Rodgers at the moment at Leicester. But yeah, I'd be surprised if Manchester United do go for him and appoint him, because that was the news just before the game, the Leicester Leeds game on Sunday. You know, probably about 2 hours before. That's when news started to break on these unofficial, obviously, sources as usual. But he just seems to be in the running for every job. Apparently, every job that becomes available inside the top 6. He's always, the first one that everyone says, "Oh yeah, Brendan Rodgers is going to join them," and he's odds-on favourite, which he now is for Man United. So, yeah, I think I've seen like a lot of people saying apparently the rumour is that United want him now, and Rodgers wouldn't go until the end of the season.
Till the end of the season,
and I think that's the case. I know he did. I know he left. I think he left Swansea halfway through the season, right? And then he left Celtic halfway through the season. But I can't see him doing it here, unless he's maybe from Leicester.
Too much respect for the ownership and what. Go on, mate.
I was saying, unless he's sacked by Leicester, which isn't impossible. I know that sounds
Give
crazy,
over. Get in the bin.
Who would you bring in?
You've won an FA Cup 6 months ago.
Hey, we're 5 points ahead of.
I'd take him off your hands at Villa.
Aston Villa.
Okay, job done.
Yeah, I bet you would.
Take him off your hands. We want him. Job done.
No, that's not a realistic possibility, Locks.
Rodgers in. I'm a Rodgers in. I don't want him gone. I'm saying it is really, really not. It's not impossible at all that it could happen if we continue this run of form past Christmas. I truly believe that. I think it's possible. But yeah, that's a story for in 3 months.
He won't last a week. If he was sacked by Leicester, he wouldn't last a week. There would be teams up and down the Premier League firing their manager that they currently have to get Brendan. I can guarantee you that. I can guarantee you everybody from probably. But I was going to say from Arsenal down, really, in the traditional pecking order of top 6, will be sacking their manager. But I think Arteta's kind of pulled a rabbit out of a hat there with what he's doing at the moment. I like the way they're playing. But up until 3 weeks ago, they would have definitely be canning him to get in Brendan Rodgers as well. So sometimes and that's the way I felt with Dean Smith. Sometimes the devil you know is better than the devil you don't, even if things aren't going the right way, and he can always turn it around.
I was just going to say something like that, Joe, with the comment you just put on. Like Leicester, obviously, as we all know, they're a club that, with the owners and the board, they're always looking forwards. We're always looking to improve on the year before. And we sacked, so obviously when Nigel Pearson was in charge, we did the Great Escape. And after that run of games at the end of that season, it was like Nigel Pearson looked untouchable, sacked. Ranieri goes and wins the Premier League, sacked. So that's why I'm saying it's really, really not. It's it's not off the cards if this continues. If we're looking, in a similar position in 3 months' time, honestly, I truly believe that it could happen. Yeah.
It would be interesting, obviously, because then if he was to fall off a cliff, would Man United then want to take him? So it would be interesting how it did develop. But I do believe Rodgers, for me, would be perfect. I know it'd be underwhelming for Man United fans because, they wanted Conte, for example, and I understand that. But then obviously their ownership, they don't want a man like that in charge. However, Rodgers, for me, is that man that they're after in terms of what a yes man would look like in a sense. Do you know what I mean? And I think, I know he would sort of get Ferguson's backing as well. I feel like a Rodgers, just more of a long-term project. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But
I still think
Zidane. Where I'm coming from, though. What you say, Oscar?
I still think it'll be Zidane who gets the job. I think Ollie will go around Christmas. I think he'll get that untenable for Ollie. And you got to think Ronaldo's controlling that club now, like he did at Real Madrid. I'm not saying that's a good or bad thing. Ronaldo would want a Zidane over Rodgers for me. I just think they brought Ronaldo in to win a trophy or to win the big trophy or to get themselves back into a title challenge. I think they'll go for someone like a Zidane. I think Deschamps is all mentioned in there. I could probably see that as more likely than Rodgers personally.
I don't understand why they don't. If Poch struggles at PSG, I think they'll go for him. I think he's perfect
that as well.
United.
I agree.
Playing style,
Poch
dealing with a difficult board, everything like that. I think he's spot on for them.
Fair. What were you going to say, Neil?
I was saying I don't understand why they aren't backing up the Brinks truck to the door of the Amsterdam Arena and getting Ten Hag. Of all the clubs in Europe that could basically just write a blank check for him, it would be Manchester United. And and that's exactly what I was going to say. Like Zidane is great, but I think Zidane does want to manage France after the World Cup. And to be honest with you, his record in the Champions League is worth preserving. If I was going to take any team, I'd take a team that weren't in the Champions League and try and get him in there and then leave and then go away with this mystique of Champions League brilliance around me. Granted, it's with Real Madrid, but that kind of stuff is worth protecting too, because it will never be done again what Zidane has done in the Champions League. It will never be done again. So there's probably a lot of things he doesn't need to come back into management, Zidane. If he does, it'll be for a team that's probably close to his heart. How close are Manchester United to the Zidane's heart, I suppose? Time will tell. But Erik Ten Hag for me would be the nailed on choice. And if it wasn't for Barcelona's money matters at the moment, he would be probably still managing Messi at Barcelona. But finances rule the world, and who knows where they'll be in the next year's time.
Yeah. Just while we're on that as well, my good friend on the far right there, Oscar, has set up a new channel, Javiesta TV. We know that Oscar is a massive Barcelona fan. I will put the link. I've still got all Leeds TV in there, but I will add that, guys, while we're chatting about Barcelona. So please do go subscribe to Oscar's new channel, please. I will put that in now while we're talking about the next game.
Cheers,
no worries, pal. It's all right. Next game on the agenda, the two heavyweights. It's Don Hassan versus Corey. It's West Ham.
He's not wearing his Liverpool shirt today. I don't wonder why.
They're in the wash. Relax. Relax. I wear my colours proudly, win or lose.
Okay. At least you can try and take it a little bit better than Klopp, though. At least try and show me a bit of that.
Go on, Corey. Take it away, mate. What a result, mate. What a result.
No, it was unbelievable. I said to you, obviously, at the beginning of the show, the atmosphere is probably the best I've seen it in a long, long time. And when Zuma put that in against Alisson, who had a really weak performance yesterday, I know he was looking for something on the first, and VAR were absolutely desperate to try and find something wrong with what Angelo Ogbonna was doing. But I just think West Ham, in terms of first half, the shape was very good. I think Fornals dropped into almost like we had a midfield five. He dealt with the central space. That's the best performance I've seen from Pablo Fornals. I know you watch other clubs and other people won't really pick up on him, but what he does defensively, offensively, was absolutely spot on. And it was just a case, again, the first goal, it's a set piece. West Ham are probably the most prolific team from set pieces. It's a lovely delivery. And then it is a case, and it always is against Liverpool, because they're an absolute nightmare to play against. sit deep and try and deal with the spaces and hope they don't get something. And it was interesting because we were so aggressive first 5 minutes. I didn't expect us to come out like that and take it to Liverpool. But then we started getting stretched a little bit. Trent was playing balls into Salah. He was getting between the lines. And I think we just went, look, sit deep, deal with this first half, stop them trying to get chances in on goal, and then we'll take a chance on a counter or a transition. But Moyes' comments after the game were the biggest statement for me, because there are a lot of fans there going, we can get at Liverpool. We can get at Liverpool. I'm on the fence of, yeah, but you've got to pick your moments. You can't just all of a sudden start throwing bodies forward because they'll pick you to pieces. But he changed it a little bit. He had Pablo pushing and pressing with Antonio. And on the counter-attacks that we had, we were absolutely sublime. We threw bodies forward. I think for the second goal, Bowen's beaten about three of their players. Played a beautiful pass. But watch it again because it's interesting. Antonio's making a run alongside Van Dijk. And Van Dijk, when you watch him live, he's just a different level. Like in positioning, he can almost deal with two players at once. So we had to go and throw three players at that situation. And then obviously, when Zuma scores, I was like, this can't be real. Like we cannot be 3-1 up against Liverpool. But our set pieces were spot on. The delivery from Gerrard from the corner is unbelievable. I know they talk about Alisson, and it's a fair thing to talk about, but you've put it right on the money. Zuma's made a beautiful run. Yeah. And then it's Moisey to a back six, isn't it, for the last 15 minutes or so. Origi scores a beautiful goal, but that does come from West Ham sitting back, and that you have to get the moments right against Liverpool. It's such a chess match, because if you sit too deep, they'll pick you and they'll just start picking passes, and Mane missed a bit of a sitter towards the end. At the same time, you've got to relieve pressure and you've got to go forward. And for me, the biggest thing about it, you can talk about it tactically or whatever, but we broke the ceiling in terms of what we can do as a club. The fact that he was brave Moyes in that second half, he pushed Pablo further up. We went for it, essentially. And this is what West Ham fans felt last season against Liverpool when you battered us 3-0. We've got the players to hit you in those transitions very quickly. We've done it to Villa the other week. We've done it regularly across the course of about 18 months. But the fact that we had the bottle to do it against Liverpool was the most impressive thing. And so, yeah, we're sitting third in the league, which is absolutely nuts. And even the media at the minute, we're getting a lot of plaudits. And I'm happy to see that it was a case of West Ham played well, not Liverpool played poorly. And there is a case that Liverpool played below their standard. But yeah, what Moyes has done with his club and these players at the minute is it's a completely different level. And sky's the limit. Let's see what happens, mate. 2 weeks off, then we'll get back at it against Wolves, and then let's see if it keeps going. I'm not sure what's going to happen anymore.
Big up the Hammers. Big up the Hammers. Love that. Just before we come to Don Hassam's reaction, Sir Daddy, who's a West Ham fan, regular watcher of the channel, big shout out, mate, says whenever Kurt Zuma did something, the fans would shout his name. Chris Kelly, as well, of All Leeds TV, make sure you show him some love. Say Hammers were value for that result. Declan Rice is a complete baller. Moyes done wonders at West Ham. Klopp can get in the bin for his post-match crying fishing emoji. And now, with that fishing emoji, I'll hand straight over to Don Hassam and his response, bro.
Listen, first of all, sorry for being late. After a Liverpool loss, I feel like a hot girl walking through a group of guys. Like, everyone's just like, yeah, Hassam, can we get you on the channel? Can we get you on the channel? It's just everyone is just, we have the first loss of the season. And no one wanted to talk to me after we beat United 5-0. That's the messed up part. No one wanted to have me on. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Big up your damn self. But West Ham deserve to win. Definitely deserve to win. I'm not here to say anything negative about West Ham. I feel like on another day we take advantage of equalizing and win the game, but we didn't take advantage of that at all. I feel like obviously there are a few players who are underperforming in the team. Robertson being one of them, Henderson being one of them. I felt I have nothing against Matip. I think he's a fantastic defender, but I think yesterday probably Konate would have been better because we played a really high line. So a player who's just a bit more aggressive, a bit more pacey as well, would have done better. I feel like players underperforming as well, like Mane missing chance after chance after chance yesterday. Jota non-existent. I don't get why we're trying to play headers, even though Jota's like 3'8", but like it just
he's
just
great
goes
in the air though. He is really good in the air.
He is great in the air, but he is playing against Zuma, and like I even forgot. I that game gave me dementia. I forgot the other two defenders. Like,
big Craig Dawson, mate. We beat you with Craig Dawson at centre back, and he didn't put a foot wrong.
That's literally what Craig Dawson wants. He wants you to cross it in because that's just his bread and butter. Like He can deal with that easily. So look, it's a bad result. And for me, the biggest issue is how fast Liverpool go from creating a chance to conceding a chance. That's the biggest problem. It's not the fact that we lost to West Ham. Many teams are going to lose against West Ham. They're a good team. But it's how we lost against them. We go from creating a chance to conceding a chance within 10 seconds. And that's the issue. Because our control over midfield is non-existent. Before, whoever his name is, played the pass.
You need James Milner in there, mate.
No, here we go again. See this
Hassan, just remind us what he calls Andy Robertson.
Braveheart?
Braveheart on the wing.
Yeah, it's bad. Listen, I was cussing him out in the watch along, and listen, okay, forget Robertson slander. But anyway, look, when before the pass was played, there was about 3 midfielders on him, could have fouled him, didn't foul him. So I feel like, look, West Ham definitely deserved to win. No complaints from me, Corey. Don't worry. I'm not here to say anything. I think West Ham did deserve to win. We didn't take our chances, even the ones that the few that we created. Towards the end there, Trent created a chance for Mane, who suddenly decided to do a diving header unnecessarily. Could have just volleyed it in from 4 yards out. But this is just the things we have to deal with Mane sometimes. No fluidity in the game. And
you're talking about Mane. Hang on a second. You're talking about Mane like he's some average player. He's won you like a Champions League and Premier League, man. Come on. This is sounding very top sixes to Sam. This is sounding like very top six.
Ben Johnson's got him out of his pocket.
Bit of entitlement from the top six. Mane's been a great player for you.
My club have higher aspirations than yours. We want to win the Premier League or the Champions League.
Okay.
We don't want to stay in the Premier
FSG,
League.
How much money is FSG? What's FSG's next spend, mate? Just remind us. What's FSG's next spend? The big, ambitious FSG.
That's my point.
Well, they're not ambitious.
My point.
You just said they're more ambitious than us.
Yes, but we're not ambitious. We don't have I said ambitious fans, not owners. Yeah, the fans are ambitious because I've said it at the start of the season. I said, and Yannicka will vouch for me as well. If we don't win the Premier League or the Champions League, this season is a failure as a collective from Liverpool FC, not just 1 or 2 people. And at the end of the day, when you have 6-7 world-class players, you have 10 players in their prime and a young right back. You don't have 10 players in their prime to win a Carabao Cup and finish top 4. You have 10 players in their prime to win stuff, and it's just, I genuinely look. If we continue this way, it's not going to happen. If we play in the Champions League like we did against Brentford, Brighton, West Ham, these three games specifically, I feel like we genuinely, I just don't see us winning anything major. And the problem is I just genuinely don't even know what the real solution is. Is it drop Henderson? Is it try go to a back 5? Is it maybe a more direct approach? The messed up thing is our young right back is our best player.
If he's got 100 mil spare, he can have him. I'm not convinced they have.
Declan Rice, he was okay. He was okay.
He was okay.
You cannot
nothing
watch that.
special.
He just gets better and better.
Just to give
Royce.
Literally didn't change my mind whatsoever. Just an okay player. He's good.
Just to give context for anyone, Don Hassan.
I watch it with my eyes. No stats.
Thinks Declan Rice is average, and you can pick a player up like him from.
I didn't say average. I said he's a good player. Don't say. I just said average. I said good player.
He managed to get him in the top 5 the other week. I was like, I can't believe it.
Top 5 CDMs in the league. That's good.
He's the best at the minute. He's the best midfielder.
I tell you what. If you want
to go best based on form, it's not even Fabinho. It's probably Rodri who's best on form right now.
I disagree, but okay. Rodri did have a very good game actually against Manchester United. In fairness to him, but I just feel that Declan's got more in his game, and I think yesterday what we saw, particularly from the double pivot, and you look at the space between the defence and the midfield, it was negligible. It was perfect, and Souček's got.
He was all right.
Let's just. I just want to get, because I know Matt obviously can't stand Declan Rice. He believes all this sort of stuff.
Go on, man.
Neil, where do you stand on Declan Rice?
Ireland's finest, Declan Rice, for me is.
Here you go.
Look, I'm going to put that aside. Look, when you look at him, he's a fantastic player. Although he did scuff his shot into the corner of the net, and there's no way he meant to score that against Aston Villa the other week. But no, he's a Rolls Royce of a player. He's really, really good.
Rolls Royce.
He's able to pick a pass like there's no tomorrow. Himself and Souček are two hulks back there. He doesn't get bullied.
He's a Toyota at best, man. Rolls Royce.
He's a Toyota at the best. Okay, we agree. We'll split it down the middle. We call him a Lexus.
Like, this is a guy that's got
If Declan Rice is a Toyota, then what does that make Thiago?
Guys, I'm getting just getting water.
Oh, he's disappeared. He's got it.
Thiago is the definition of a Rolls Royce. Don't be disrespectful, Oscar. Relax.
Yeah, Jan, would you look at Declan Rice and think, would you take him at City? Someone like Declan Rice?
I think Declan Rice is a good player. I think Rodgers been really, really good this season. Yeah. He's been good since he came in, but I think at first he did kind of look a little bit slow, and I think it's just because Pep, it takes Pep's players a while to understand what he really wants them to do. It's happening with Grealish at the moment. People are saying, is Grealish that good? I expect to see Grealish at his best next season, just because of the way that Pep is. He's so demanding on his players and stuff. So, yeah, Rodri's been really, really good this season. He's not put much of a foot wrong. Him, Bernardo and Cancelo have been our three best players. So, yeah, I don't think we need Declan Rice. But he is a good player. He's definitely one of the best in the league.
Yeah, definitely. I just canvass opinion just to ram home how wrong Don Hassam is. That's all. It's all love. No, great result for West Ham, and Jared Bowen for me just continues to get better and better.
Days, mate. I'll tell you what, he's dangerous. I think he's got now something like 9. He's had 9 games, 8 goal contributions, and his consistency in terms of output now, and all of the attacking midfielders. Because every show I do, and you get conversations with a Chelsea fan or an Arsenal fan, it's all about goals and assists, goal and assists. Well, Benrahma's got 9 in 15. Jared's just bagged about 8 in 9, and 4 now scored yesterday. So that's what we need. We need him to be consistent going forward. Because Mickey doesn't score every week. As good as he is, he doesn't score, and he didn't play well yesterday. So they have to step up.
I did take him out of my fantasy team, even though you advised me not to, and I put in Neil Maupay against Newcastle, and he didn't even play, did he?
Oh, you deserve drop points. You deserve drop points for that.
I make some shockers, I do. But I do have a midfield of Conor Gallagher, Neil Smith-Rowe, and I put Havertz. So there is some good things in there.
I have jumped on the Smith-Rowe train as well. I did have to admit that to Joe. I did have to admit that.
Yeah, and he got his England call up today, which was deserved. I know it's through injuries and that, but I think he's looking class, and we've just got an abundance of players at the minute at England, really. There was even talk of Jared Bowen at Liverpool, I remember, in the summer, and I know that might be. I see the little chuckle there. I see the little chuckle from the Liverpool fan. But there is a lot of that, though. That's what I mean. But I think for me, they'd have done the same with Robertson coming from Hull, and look at him now.
Well, this is the only thing. I don't know if Sam will back me up or not, but Liverpool fans look down on a name like Jared Bowen at Liverpool. Yeah. But I remember being linked with him, and I thought work rate, defensively, plays that inside forward role, and Klopp's talked about him quite a bit, and he's talked him up. So I can see why. I didn't think it was that much of a jump for Klopp to say that he would want a player like that, and he's on the right age as well. I think it's 24, 25.
Oh, so you liked Klopp when he says good things about your player. You like him, but when he's salty after a loss,
I don't like when he moans about decisions that he gets in his favour 95% of the time. That's the only one that throws me off.
Listen, all good managers moan after a loss. Watch Oli after a loss. You'll know why good managers moan.
That's not true, man. That's not true.
What an absolute
Bielsa.
What are you talking about?
Every great manager after a loss moans. Everyone.
Bielsa never called out an official, and he's a great.
Okay, listen, I'm not about to get involved in this, but anyway, when it comes to Bowen, personally, I wouldn't take him, but it's true. Klopp does like him. I actually do know this for a fact. Does like him. Unfortunately, me personally, I don't.
You not rate him?
I don't really like him because it's just. I just think of Jared Bowen running at PSG in Bayern. That doesn't fill me with confidence.
Well, he did all right yesterday, running at Matip, Van Dijk. He did all right.
Fabinho, the best DM in the league.
He was okay. He was okay. He was. I think West Ham's best player was Benrahma or Cresswell. I think both of them had incredible games. Both of them specifically, I felt just had incredible games. But from that entire West Ham team, this may shock you, but one guy I actually wanted us to sign was Antonio, even before the start of the season. Like, I fully wanted us to sign him, as like I just think he would just be an absolute animal for us. And now, like, having watched West Ham, I actually really like Benrahma. Like, I genuinely rate him. I think he's a very good player. I'd rather Benrahma than Bowen, if I'm being honest. I just think Benrahma has that just like a bit of extra ingredients to him, if you get what I'm saying. Like, he could probably muster up a moment when you need him to do it. So, it's just that.
Oh, fair.
What about Alisson though? What about Alisson's goalkeeping yesterday? Can we talk about that?
Alisson has one howler every 4 months.
He wasn't one howler. He was all 3 goals were on Alisson for me.
Yeah, that's what I just said. Howler. So a howler of a performance. He has a howler once every 4 months, and that's okay. And then he just goes on to be the best keeper in the world again. So it's just how it goes.
Good. It's all good. Let's move it on from West Ham Liverpool, and we're just gonna finish up.
Thank God.
Time. Yeah, I'm aware of time, and we need to move things on. But we're gonna come to Leeds United being back. But let's have a chat with Locks first, and Leicester City. What are your thoughts, mate, on the performance? Do you see it as a good point, or what? What's the crack? I mean, obviously not good, because you're saying Rodgers should be sacked. So
no, I didn't. I did not say Rodgers should be sacked. So don't twist it. I said he could be sacked, but no. I mean, I was saying it before the show. Like, obviously, Leeds are still a great team, and obviously a great club. But I was saying this time last year, obviously, I'd have been really happy with a point away at Ellen Road. We actually got 3 points away at Ellen Road last year, but I would have been happy with the point. This year, obviously, just because of where you are on the table, and I suppose we ain't far ahead of you, only 4 points ahead. I would have liked to win, but I think I know you and Oscar will probably say that you feel you should have won the game. I feel like either team could have won the game. Obviously, you just weren't great in front of goal. I think, to be fair, the Rafinha goal was, you got quite fortunate with that, how it just kind of found its way. Yeah, mate, come on. It found its way through that back line, mate. And
give over, man. Rafinha's getting like Salah at the minute. Rafinha's inevitable. There's no fortune. He does that from that area. He did it against Newcastle, and if you watch the Newcastle goal, though it wasn't a free kick, Rodrigo makes the exact same movement across. It's pre-planned. Casper all over, shot, boom, into the bottom corner, and the exact same thing happened against Newcastle. Rafinha's got that in his locker, and I'll say it again to Casper, your dad's a character, and so are you. Obviously, change the word character for another C-bomb, but it is what it is. I really do. He took some stick yesterday, but no, it wasn't fortuitous, mate. That's what Rafinha does. There you go.
Yeah, well, I think from an outsider, from someone that doesn't sit, doesn't. But yeah, for me, I'm saying it was fortunate, but no, fair. But I hear what you're saying. They did it before, didn't they? So I suppose you could argue, but yeah, I think Harvey Barnes, mate. I mean, not had a great start to the season. Last season he was world class for that kind of 2/3 of the season up until he got injured. There's actually a joke among Leicester fans that Harvey Barnes is twice the player he is when we're 1-0 down for some reason. He just kind of gets his head down and seems to put in, absolute kind of quality performances once we've gone 1 down. So, we call it the kickoff glitch now as well. Like, and if you play FIFA, there used to be a kickoff glitch. We call it now because you see the Man United game, not too long ago, we obviously conceded, and straight away, ball back to Johnny Evans over the top. Harvey Barnes picked up this time, mate. What a finish that was! That was, some rocket. Great. That it was, unreal. So, yeah, I think I said with Oscar on Friday night, I think as long as Leeds don't give us too much time on the ball, which Leeds were never going to do, they were never going to give us too much time on the ball. But as long as they didn't, I think you had a good chance of getting something from the game, and you have, Boubakary Samari, who I kind of hyped up on Friday with Oscar. He's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant on the ball, but he just hasn't kind of adjusted yet to that. To not having as much time on the ball compared to what he had in the French league. So, but that's definitely he's definitely one to watch. Obviously, whatever happens with Tielemans in the summer, he will be the one to step in, I would imagine. So, yeah, it's we're 4 points ahead of you, mate. I know, Joe, you've been kind of getting yourself like in the past few weeks saying, "Oh, I hope Burnley lose," or "I hope Brent," all the teams
for sure,
below you. And I don't think you're gonna have to worry about that later on in the season. But we are only 4 points ahead, so I think both teams at the end of the day are will settle. We'll be all right with 1 point each. We've got kind of more games ahead. Yeah, I don't think Tielemans was. I think Tielemans had quite a good game. I think he had chances. But yeah, Vardy. Yeah.
Pocket, wasn't he? Llorente emptied his pockets at end at night. Vardy
that's what I was going to talk about actually. That incident in the 11th minute, I think that was outrageous. I can't believe that wasn't.
You mean where Jamie Vardy initiated the contact and threw himself to the floor?
Nah, mate, it would have been a red card. Mate, honestly, it would have been a red card if they didn't rule him offside. But I don't know why he was ruled offside.
They went to VAR, didn't they? They went to VAR at the time. Obviously, I was in the
Yeah, but VAR's brilliant.
They went to VAR. And the only reason it wasn't a red was because he was offside. But Struijk played the ball back. He passed it back. So how was he offside?
But he shouldn't have been offside then, mate.
But that's
got the red card then,
what
the
decision was. That's what the decision was. They gave offside.
Right.
So that was a bit of a ludicrous decision. But yeah, the second one was fair. Ademola Lookman was offside when he tapped it in at the back post. So I suppose from your point of view, even itself. Yeah. But yeah, it's look, I can't complain too much. A point away at Ellen Road, especially with fans in. Your atmosphere, obviously, as we all know, is absolutely incredible. So I'll take it for now. And we had a little nice pick up in form after the last international break. So hopefully after this one, kind of get our heads down and do it again. But I'm not.
For sure.
About that.
I actually seen your man Jack at the Billy Bremner statue from Leicester City Fan TV. I just seen him walking past, and I had a chat with him. It was. I mean, you mentioned there Tielemans, Samari, and Didi. Obviously, we had Calvin Phillips, but the man of the match for me and who ran that midfield, Oscar, was the return of Adam Forshaw. Not played or started a Premier League game for 4 years. Obviously, last time with Borough, been out with injury for the last 2 years. He comes back and what a performance, mate. 85 minutes, and he's everything we've been missing, bro. He's everything we've been missing. We finally looked like we had a midfield, and that was one of my main concerns going into this game. Regardless of how Leicester have been this season, they're still a top side, and it was a great point, and that's why I'm being a bit ballsy because, as I've said, I have been worried about being in a scrap. I didn't think we'd get relegated, but performances have just nowhere near been to the level that we're used to. However, I know we only got a point against Leicester, but the performance was there for me. We dominated large parts of the game. We could talk about Dan James all night, and Man United fans told me about his final ball. I didn't want to hear it. Now I'm seeing it in the flesh. It's killing me. He gets into so many dangerous positions. There are times during the match, genuinely, when I say to myself, I think I could have played a better pass. And I'm not a Premier League footballer. I'm nowhere near the stretch of the imagination. But when he has his head down, I just say because there was a moment, mate, where he busts through and he's got Rafinha and Rodrigo either sides and he hits it with his left foot, P-roller straight to Kasper Schmeichel. And then Dallas has a chance and he gets down the right-hand side. First thing he does, he looks up and tries to pick out a player. And that's the difference. Dan James just doesn't get his head up at times. And I think if Dan James was able to pick a pass or have that final ball, we win that game. And I could say the same for Harrison as well. I think he's nowhere near the player that he was last season. And there's stuff going on there because his final ball let us down as well. But overall, I'm happy. Get Patrick Bamford back in this side. And we're climbing up the table, mate. Climbing up the table for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's the most controlled. I still think the Wolves' performance is the best. Certainly, that second half against Wolves is the best I think I've seen us play because we were just ridiculously good there. But we were very good yesterday. From minute 1 to 90, in terms of control, we just had it. We were just at it yesterday. But I think obviously what you talk about with James and Harrison is that, yeah, look, in terms of goals and assists, they've not delivered the numbers that they can deliver. Certainly Harrison compared to last season, but I think when you get Bamford back in there, where they've got a constant presence in that box to aim for, get the balls in the air, balls flashing across the 6-yard box, someone's get on the end of them. I think Bamford will massively help things. I think with Bamford's link-up playing as well to feed the likes of Harrison and James in behind. James's pace, I still think we can utilise it better. I've still thought the only thing that disappointed me a little bit was we didn't create chances from James running off the back of Johnny Evans or Soyuncu, trying to target their lack of pace at the back. That's the only thing that slightly disappointed me. But I think James will get better. I think that's happened with every single attacking player under Bielsa. They've maybe not started particularly well, but they have slowly got into it. And I think James will be the same. I don't think he's been that bad, James. I think he's just done. I think the problem with James is obviously the price tag. We're expecting big things straight away.
One assist, 25 million, bro. It's not great.
No. Look, yeah, of course. Dan James will say the same thing. Bielsa will say the same thing. We need more than that. But I think when Bamford gets in there, I think there's more potential for assists. There's more potential for goals, and I just think everything will be better when Bamford's back in the team.
He did say, when I was calling him out on my post-match, she went, "I told you all. I did tell you." She has said from minute 1 that we shouldn't have signed Dan James.
But are we turning on James after, 10 games?
No, listen, not for any stretch of the imagination. I thought he had a good game. He's full of endeavour. In terms of what Bielsa will want from a player, he could run and press and be at that level of fitness for 2 games. Do you know what I mean? He's got that in his locker. It's just
the thing is,
moments, you need that extra bit of quality. You need to get your head up. You need to pick a pass. We've seen that if you don't take your chances, you will lose. We did that against West Ham. Click miss a chance, we lose the game. There's chances with Leicester, for example. When Jamie Vardy scores the offside goal, the first thing I said was, that's what happens when you don't take your chances, because we had multiple chances prior to that. And I think if we have ambitions to climb up the table, we need to take them chances, man. For me,
no, of course, but I think it will come. I do think it will come. Yeah. I think the thing I'd say about James is that you got to consider last season our options outside of Rafinha and Harrison was Poveda and Costa. James is a far better player, better player, far easier player to fit in the team. You could not have put Costa or Poveda up front yesterday to fill in as a false 9 like they did, and he's going to be a better player than both of them. There's no doubt about it. That's got to be the minimum benchmark. But yeah, I think when Bamford's back in, for me personally,
Oscar, how are you picking up Daniel James? How? Like what like watching him? What's the thing that makes you actually say that he's going to become a better football player? Because as Dylan said, this is not like a sprinting contest. Like all I see is Sonic the Hedgehog or Roadrunner. Meep meep every time I just see him. That's all I see when it comes to Daniel James. I genuinely don't see a football player.
Considering you rate Jorginho, mate, who got absolutely outperformed by Ashley Westwood, I don't think you're really in a position to talk to me about rating players and not rating players.
That has nothing to do with anything. Jorginho right now sits top of the league. Daniel James has done nothing. Like he literally had the 3 months of a good spell with United, and that's it. I have no idea how you paid that much money for him, if I'm being completely honest. I think United fleeced you for that much money.
Yeah, but how many players have you had, Hassam, who you've signed, people like Robertson, people like that? I think Corey already mentioned it.
I'm asking you about the Leeds player.
It's coaching. That's the point I was coming to.
This is the Leeds section. This is the Leeds section, Oscar. I'm asking you a Leeds question.
Yeah,
forget why.
That was the point I was coming to. I wasn't having a go at Liverpool there. I was actually praising Klopp there. I was talking about his coaching, the ability to get the best out of people like Andy Robertson, Mane, who maybe were lesser known Premier League players when you signed them. I think, look, James is nowhere near as good as either of those 2 players, but for what we need, I think he could be the answer. He can play on the left, he can play on the right, he can play through the middle, he gives us a nice bit of versatility, and that's what we've needed. Last season, Hassam, when we had Rafinha or Harrison out of the team, we couldn't win a game. Costa and Poveda didn't do the job. It's as simple as that. They didn't do the job. James has come in, and he's got a little bit more about him, and I think he's only going to get better. You know, it's only
For that
No, I
one,
do.
I don't think he could have had a better player.
Maybe there is. There's a lot of Leeds fans. We were linked to a lot of players. I know if you watch Champions League football, we were linked to Noah Lang, for example, who got the man of the match for Club Brugge against PSG. You know, and that included Messi, Neymar, etc., Mbappe, and he got man of the match. He's a great talent. But the thing is, with Bielsa, with all the positives he brings, there are some things that you have to accept as well. And one of them is, if he has his heart set on a player, then know that that's the guy he wants. But listen, who are we to question him? Because he's brought my football club back to the promised land, and we play some good stuff when we're on form. So it is what it is. But Leeds, for me, look like they might be back. Tough test, obviously, when we return against Tottenham and Antonio Conte. International break, he has an opportunity to get into them. And then, who've we got after that? Brighton, we never win against Potter. Potter's just
Palace at home after that.
Palace and Brentford at home. Put your money on Conor Gallagher scoring, that's for sure. That'll definitely happen.
I really rate Palace. I don't know if it's just me, but like every time I watch Palace play, they just seem to get better and better. And I'm thinking, the longer Vieira has with those, and Gallagher as well. I watched the first half against. Sensational. Gee, I mean, you're talking about how people often say an all-round player. Runs in the final third, pressing, drops deep, tackles. Very, very complete for a very young player. It's very odd. Chelsea got a serious baller.
Yeah, let me just say, them people that are watching this that doubted me when I mentioned Conor Gallagher as well, and told me, why did we take him on loan and improve another player's player? What's all this? Now look. I told yous, man. I told yous. He is. He's an absolute baller, and I think.
Joe, you think you guys could get relegated? Genuine question. I'm not even trying to be funny.
No, genuinely not. No, I thought we were in a fight, and we still are. We're not out of the woods yet, because when we return, we've got 2 tough games. But I think, well, I did say Norwich are down, but it all depends how they do when whoever comes in.
Can you see anyone keeping Norwich up though?
You know,
really?
Absolutely not. You genuinely never know.
Sam Allardyce, probably the only one.
Yeah,
and even that would be a pretty task, to be honest, after West Brom. So.
Yeah, Newcastle now have Eddie Howe as well. Villa are going to get a new manager. Watford could bounce back with Ranieri. You're not worried at all?
No,
Watford
genuinely.
Lost 3 out of 4.
Yeah.
Take out that Everton crazy result.
I think Norwich definitely go down, because it's just like, I think the quality of player they have is not good enough. But then the other 2, I feel like there's genuinely a debate there. Because Newcastle could make it out. Other teams could make it out. So I don't know, man. If it's just, there is a possibility. It's never impossible. It's never.
No, of course it's not. It's never an impossibility. I understand that, but I think we will have too much. And I think if we perform like we did against Leicester on a regular basis, we'll be all right, man. Rafinha coming up.
What I'd say is,
enjoy Rafinha last season. Enjoy it.
No, I think we're all thinking that. You've got to enjoy mine here. But what I'd say is, I don't think any of those teams around us are Watford's. A Burnley, Newcastle could play as well as we did against Leicester yesterday, dominate the game like we did against Leicester yesterday, or have a difference maker like Rafinha. That's the big thing for me. Rafinha, going forward, Melier in goal. We've got 2 big difference makers there, top manager, and we're starting to play a lot better now.
Don't forget Calvin.
Calvin as well.
Phillips, Bamford, Adam Forshaw.
What a player, man.
I know. This is the thing where Hassan is spot on though when he says Calvin's better than Rice. That's the only thing we'll say.
Yeah,
by the way, I fully believe that. I'm not even trying to be. I genuinely believe that, hand on heart. I fully believe that comment, and I believe Rafinha is better than any forward West Ham have as well.
Who do you think's better?
Yeah, he is. He is better than any forward.
Better than Declan Rice, and Rafinha, I feel like is better than your wingers.
Probably, well, on the level.
Yeah, you would have to agree with that, Corey, right?
Yeah, I'll take it tomorrow, wouldn't I?
That's not a thing.
Do you know what? I nearly tried to defend it as well, but
but no.
we've got you on the Declan one, so we'll let it slide.
Yeah. To be honest, Rafinha, at the end of the season, will leave Leeds United. He will go play Champions League football. I just hope when he does leave, he leads to a team outside of the Premier League. If he stays in the Premier League, as long as he don't go to Manchester United or Chelsea, then I'm okay. I'm okay with it. You know what I mean? We got him. We paid 17 million for him. Best know you're going to be paying between 50 to 80 million if you want to take him. So it is what it is. He's already reaching his numbers that he hit last season. He's doing it on the international stage. we're going to make big money and we just reinvest it. As long as we reinvest it right, we'll be fine. But I believe that is a great way to end the show. I'm aware people have been on for an hour and 15 minutes now. We've all got live stuff to do. I want to thank them all for coming on. Neil, first of all, for the love of Paul McGrath, I hope your managerial search goes well and you don't end up with Frank Lampard or someone like that, mate. And yeah, thank you for coming on. Where can we find you, brother?
Yeah, thanks so much. And I do apologize. I've been looking off screen quite a lot because there was a couple of messages just flowing straight through my inbox there a moment ago, and it turns out there was lots of hoaxes. Because people must have been watching, putting my leg, trying to get me all excited. So I was checking there. So apologies if I looked a bit distracted. But yeah, you can catch me at Love McGrath Pod on Twitter. All the podcasts are on any Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We also have a YouTube channel. You can just look for Further Love of Paul McGrath. That's the beauty of having a podcast name like that. No one else is going to have that podcast name, so there's only one of us out there. So you won't miss us if you look for Further Love of Paul McGrath, and you'll be able to find us wherever you get podcasts, really.
Yeah, man. Make sure you check it out. Some great content. I was listening to it today whilst I was supposed to be doing work at uni, just in prep for tonight, hearing your thoughts on Dean Smith. Corey, West Ham Way, what's going down, mate? A new video dropped earlier on, I think.
Yeah, 10 minute video on how David Moyes pulled that win off. I mean, there's going to be a lot of content this week. Unfortunately, the international break, it is a little bit dull, but we'll look back on the season so far, talk about individual performances. You mentioned Aaron Creswell earlier, and I think Loxley obviously did that video where I was a bit iffy on him even being left back, but he's been class, so he deserves a bit of credit. And roll on, mate. If Gerrard gets called up by some kind of miracle, then maybe the international break gets a little bit more interesting, but I'm just going to have to tie myself over. I'm sure I've got loads to talk about.
Yeah, man. We will be back here on Thursday anyway. Don't forget, we'll be doing our team of the season so far. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Oscar, talk to us about JUSTJOE TV, mate.
Yeah, so it's a new channel. I'm going to talk about, obviously, Xavi taking the Barcelona job, a bit about Spanish football in general, and yeah, just genuinely tracking the Xavi appointment, really, reacting to the news on it. I'm going to do a bit of
look like you could pass as a Spanish waiter with the tash as well, bro.
Cheers, mate. Cheers for that. It's only going to get worse as well. We're only 8 days in. It's going to get worse and worse.
Make sure
and
you
worse
check it
and
out.
worse.
I have put Oscar's new channel in the description now, JUSTJOE TV. So make sure you check that out. Jan, where can we find you?
Yeah, you can find me on @ItChanCity on Twitter or Sarcasm City on YouTube.
Also, you were right. Okay, cool. Sarcasm. Yeah, I've checked it out. We've been on with Flawless before, actually. To be fair, bit of a mad guy. Locks in the box. What's going down? Are you going to put any videos out?
Yeah, they'll come. Can
you get to 5 by Christmas, Locks? Do you reckon you can do it, mate?
I reckon. There's 2 out there at the minute, which you can watch back again, I suppose. Corey's of course on one of them. We did. I can't remember. What did we do, mate? Top outside the top.
No, Locks. We did. What's the best?
Locks is very dedicated to this channel, you know.
Yeah.
It was literally what video was the best team out of the top 6, and it was just basically Leicester and West Ham, wasn't it? So and a bit of Rafinha. So it weren't that interesting, to be honest.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you can be asked, check that out.
Give it a look.
This for probably 4 weeks in a row, but there will be a new video coming out soon with Joe or Oscar or both.
What about me?
Yeah.
You've been on one, mate. You can wait.
I'm not allowed back on anymore. Is that it?
Next Christmas. Yeah. I'll tweet when the next upload happens, whenever that may be.
Okay, Locks. Thank you, mate. And finally, the legend that is Don Hussam on This Is Football. We noticed she started a new video, The Midnight Madness, the other day.
Oh, what a show! What a show that was,
mate. The WWE quality.
We had to do that one for the people to just enjoy the content. I have to say, Locks, You're the worst salesman of a channel I've ever met my entire life. It's just like, this is just the worst outro. Like, this is the part where you're gonna go like, yes, locks in the box, subscribe, blah blah. And he's just like, yeah, we might have a video. Like, it's just we might not have.
Yeah, mate.
Listen, the channel is called This Is Football. It's a channel for all football fans. You're welcome. There's stuff for you no matter who you support. There's stuff that's funny. There's stuff that's serious. Today I sat down with Man United fans and I was injecting it because they were all crying. As bad as it is, I'm not a Man United fan, so at least it's not that bad. So listen, it's good stuff. And forget my channel. Do subscribe to Joe's channel as well. Always a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. Big up everyone on the panel as well. A pleasure as well working with you guys. So massive shout out to you guys as well.
Yeah, great. So thank you. That's the first time. No, I think that's the second time you've done that. Corey, Locks, Oscar, the regulars really should take a leaf out of your book asking them to subscribe to me as well. Do you know what I mean? Be more like Hassam. Be more like Hassam. Thank you as always for watching, guys. It's a pleasure doing this. We will be back on Thursday. I'll have the midweek fix on Wednesday with Lucy looking at everything Leeds United. Then on Thursday, we will have our team in the season so far. So make sure you keep it locked. And we will